Hello everyone, Stazima here, back again with another Halo Reach commentary. Today we have a gameplay by a very good friend of mine. He's been covering for me with some gameplay because I have not been able to play Halo recently. He is extremely talented and he has some very entertaining stuff for you, so I hope that you enjoy that. But we are going to be talking about some Halo 4 today, specifically the Armory and customization loadouts going around, and possibly I have this view in my head. I had this vision of possibly a cool system that might work for Halo 4 that would be unique and it would be a lot of fun to work with. And there have been rumors that it might be something similar to this, but nothing is set in stone very much with the Armory yet and the customization loadouts yet. But we'll have to wait and see. But I have a vision. I thought that it would be pretty cool. This is just what I thought of. But basically, I thought of probably that the fact that you buy armor permutations, like in Halo Reach, where you have the armor and you buy these things like shoulder guards, knee guards, chest guards, stuff like this, and I had a vision that possibly each piece of armor would have a special passive effect or a special passive ability. Now what a passive ability is would be that it has a special bonus that you don't press a button to activate, but it's always there. For example, plus 5% running speed. Something like that would be considered a passive armor effect, something that's always on, constantly affecting your game. So I thought that it would be kind of cool if you could buy different helmets, shoulders, chest, legs, and attachment that would increase one aspect of your game but lower another. This would add a new layer of tactical kind of strategy behind the game. Now, for example, I made up an example loadout for you guys just to give a little illustration of what I think would be a cool thing. Obviously, this is just off the top of my head, nothing in depth. I thought about this too much, but say that you had a helmet that gave you plus 5 shield recharge and minus 5 health. Say that you had shoulders that gave you plus 10 damage percent but minus 20% speed. Say you had a chest that gave you plus 10% health but minus 20% shield strength, and say you had some legs that gave you plus 20% jump height, but every time you jumped you would lose a tiny bit of your shield energy, and say they had an attachment that lowered the recoil by 20%. Now that is just a made up I had off the top of my head. Now the interesting thing about these is that a system like this would distance Halo from Call of Duty, which is what a lot of people don't like about these new changes, is that they're kind of like Call of Duty. A system like this would make Halo more original. It would be a more original system to work with. It would also add a new layer of tactical element to the game. It would give each player a new tactical role that they had to deal with, such as like the objective slayer, the main slayer, the support. You would be able to refine your team and your strategy to your particular playstyle based on the passive armor abilities that you choose from the Armory. Now say that there's a whole host of different helmets that give different effects, all this which way. Now, it would be very, very difficult, and it would be the most important aspect of a system like this, is to keep it balanced. You have to make sure that nothing is overpowered that everyone in the game would use. Because if you have a piece of armor that, say, raises your damage 20%, then everyone would use that. But it has to have a major drawback to that plus 20% damage that would stop people from using it. So that to make sure that everyone doesn't use it. Because if everyone were to use a certain armor ability, if everyone were to use a certain piece of armor that gave you a special ability, then that would mean that it's overpowered, that it's ultimately have failed, because you want a variety of things going around all the time. So everything has to have its advantage and disadvantage so that it can adapt to the different roles and stuff like that. Now, a different kind of role system like this would lead to more teamwork. You'd have to be able to communicate with some people easier, and it would have to allow for greater swapping of the different armor pieces easily. Probably in the before game lobby, where there's probably 2 minutes to just kind of refine your loadouts and work with your team, possibly to get the right pieces of armor for everyone. Now, of course, with every system, with every new system, there's always going to be some people that don't like it. So I'm not suggesting a full change like this for the entire Halo series, but maybe for one or two game types, or such as not the classic game modes, because I have a feeling that Halo 4 is going to be so different that there's definitely going to be a classic game mode in there. So to recap, get your armor, get your Spartan points, get your experience, and spend it on new armor permutations, which give you passive effects varying in different degrees. I'm not saying that there'd be super dramatic as such as like 20% or 10%. That's pretty dramatic, but even like small changes like plus 2% or plus like 3%, that would still be a small enough to make an impact, and it would still add a new element to the game. So you increase these passive armor abilities and you add them with the 2 armor abilities like sprint, and then you have another armor ability that you can choose like invisibility or forerunner vision. So things like that would definitely add a new layer to the game that would make it different, fun, and new, and it would be a completely different Halo experience that we've ever seen. I think that would be pretty fun. It would be interesting, to say the least. So guys, that's just a little vision I had in my head. I popped it up and came up with it real quick. Let me guys know what you think of it and if that would be a cool addition for Halo. And if you do like it, then give me a piece of armor that you would like to see in Halo 4, such as like if you had a chest piece, which passive effects would it have? Make sure that when it has an effect, it also has a drawback to that effect. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Leave a comment. See you guys around.